Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true.
Policeman intervenes, fires gun in cabby's dispute in St. Anne. A taxi operator has been charged with unlawful wounding after a fight between the cabby and his colleague in Claremont, St. Anne on Tuesday, which prompted a plainclothes policeman to intervene and fire a gun. Head of the St. Anne Police Senior Superintendent Dwight Powell confirmed the incident. The taxi operators were fighting in the town of Claremont, where offensive weapons were drawn, police told reporters. One wounded the other, so the policeman who was passing nearby saw the incident, intervene, and had to discharge his weapon to prevent escalation of the incident. A video of the incident has been circulating on social media. The footage shows one of the taxi operators using a weapon to hit the other before a third party said to be the policeman intervenes and fired 2 shots in the air. It is understood that the dispute between the taxi operators was triggered by one of the cabbies refusing to withdraw his services in solidarity with his peers who had planned to stay off the job in protest against alleged unfair treatment by the government. One of the taxi operators suffered non-life-threatening injuries in his incident, police told reporters. Policeman hit with multiple charges for alleged rape of woman in St. Elizabeth. One of 4 police constables implicated in the alleged robbery and sexual assault of a female motorist in Black River, St. Elizabeth, has been charged. Constable Alwyn Hill was charged for 5 offenses based on ruling delivered by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Hill was being charged with rape, grievous sexual assault, forcible abduction, corruptive soliciting, and simple larceny. He remains in custody, and a date for him to reappear in court is to be decided. It is alleged that about 10 p.m. on Monday, January 30, the woman was driving along the Crawford Main Road in a car with a demonstration license plate. She was signaled to stop by members of the police team who were manning a checkpoint. The 26-year-old woman, whose name is being withheld, allegedly offered the cops $7,000, which she had on her to avoid being ticketed, but they demanded $50,000. According to the reports, the cops took the woman to an ATM in Black River, where she attempted to withdraw the $50,000 but was unsuccessful. She was then told by one of the cops to drive to a nearby supermarket, where she was taken to the back of the building. The constable allegedly raped her and threatened to kill her if she reported it. The constable also used her debit card to purchase some items. The woman, however, reported the matter to the Santa Cruz police station, where arrangements were made for her to be medically examined. The 4 constables were taken into custody, but 3 have since been released. Cops need help to find relatives of dead man. The St. Mary police are seeking the public's help in locating the relatives of O'Neill Collins, who was found dead on the steps of Lyric Theatre in Port Maria about 9 on Monday morning. A passerby saw Collins and noticed that he had a wound to his forehead and a swollen jaw. Further checks revealed that Collins was motionless, and the passerby notified the Port Maria police. Collins was taken to the Port Maria hospital, where he was pronounced dead. He is known to have frequent drop-in centers in Kingston and Port Maria. However, according to police investigations, he was not a regular visitor to the St. Mary homeless shelter, and there are not a lot of details about him. There are unconfirmed reports that Collins used to live overseas, and it is believed that most of his relatives do not live in Jamaica. The cause of death remains uncertain until a postmortem is done. He could have been hit in the face, or he could have fallen. Until then, we will not say if it was foul play, Superintendent Bobby Morgan Simpson, head of the St. Mary Police Division, told reporters. According to Morgan, last year, there were several cases in the parish where homeless people were targeted and harmed. There is a theory that the perpetrator is also homeless. However, the senior officer said investigations are ongoing. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson addressed the nation.
It bodes well for the country when we all participate in addressing the issue of crime, violence, and public order. On the matter of public order, as everyone is aware, the new Road Traffic Act and regulations took effect on February the 1st, which is a welcome change and a major milestone in the efforts to improve road safety and public order in Jamaica. The new legislation aligns with the overall modernization of the traffic ticketing management system that has been undertaken by the Ministry of National Security over the past 2 years. The JCF has used the SmartCheck system to look up data on road users and vehicles, and this system is integrated into the TTMS. The technology improves the efficiency of our officers and reduces undue delays for motorists. We recently received an additional 750 e-ticketing devices, bringing our number to 820, which are being rolled out across the country. We expect that by the end of the year, we'll no longer use the paper tickets. It's noteworthy that the JCF increased the number of tickets issued last year from just over 451,000 tickets in 2021 to over 720,000 in 2022, an increase of 60%. You may or may not be aware that we also have additional public order enforcement tools coming on stream in the form of decibel and tint meters. Noise has been a source of nuisance to a number of persons, whether from motor vehicles, motorcycles, or entertainment. There are people who operate without due consideration for the wider public. The decibel meter will be used by our public order and traffic teams to better regulate noise levels. We recently received 40 of these meters and will gradually increase the number over time in an effort to increase our capacity to address this issue. The tint meters will be used in the enforcement of the relevant provisions of the new Road Traffic Act with respect to tint levels. Whereas the new Act provides for additional offences and greater fines, the provisions are mainly designed to make road use safer for everyone. Even as we deal with the issue of public order, we continue to relentlessly pursue the criminal networks, gangsters, and gunmen who are responsible for the murders, the shootings, and other serious crimes committed in our country. It is not lost on us that every tool that can be used should be used to save lives. Those criminals involved in the illegal firearms trade continue to be a key area of focus for us from an intelligence, investigative, and also an operational perspective. The illegal firearm continues to be the weapon of choice for the commission of murders, featuring in upwards of 85% of murders and in other violent crimes. Since the new Firearms Act came into effect on November the 1st, 2022, just about 348 charges have been laid against 187 persons for various offenses. This year, for January, 131 charges have been laid against 75 persons under this act. Of note is the fact that we have been applying the new offenses, including distribution, stockpiling, and trafficking, and we await the outcome of the cases now before the courts.
No more child seat requirements. Government bows to public pressure. The government has abandoned the requirement of child restraint system for children up to 12 years using public transportation. The about turn comes less than a week after the new Road Traffic Act took effect on February 1 and following public outcry from operators of public transportation as well as parents. Minister of Transport Alder Shaw outlined the changes in the ministerial statement in the House of Representatives Tuesday afternoon. By way of compromise, children under 1 year must be restrained by an adult. Those 1 to 3 years old are allowed to travel with no restraint or be restrained by an adult. The other changes are as follows. Children 3 to 6 years old may travel without restraint, restrained by an adult or a lap belt. Children 6 to 9 years old may travel without restraint or with a lap belt. Children over 9 years may travel without restraint with a lap belt or a 3-point seat belt. Shaw stressed that only children who are of the weight and size to use an adult seat belt are permitted to travel in the front passenger seat. In addition, where an adult is restraining a child, the adult should not be in the front. Children under 1 year are to be restrained by an adult in all forms of transport, said Shaw. He added that all other children must be transported using appropriate restraint based on their size and weight. The Transport Minister said the guidelines have been set out so persons can determine what kind of restraint is applicable for different categories. In summary, children traveling in licensed taxis and buses are allowed to go without restraint, but where a lap belt is available, it should be used. If a child is of the size to use the adult belt, this may be used if available. In all instances, the driver must wear a seatbelt, whether operating privately or transporting public passengers. In justifying the sweeping changes, Shaw argued that the realities of our public passenger transport system and how it operates will place an undue burden on parents whose children need to travel in public transportation, whether accompanied by an adult or not. The risk of the inability to access transportation services may exceed the risk associated with traveling without a child restraint system, and in this regard, the rules applicable to public transport vehicles will have to be less stringent than those of the private vehicles. Shaw explained that a regulation is to be inserted making reference to the type of child restraint required for the covenants of the child based on the age and size in different types of vehicles. He also said the government will allow a period of 3 months while the Act is in force to look at other possible changes to the new law, which comes with far more punitive fines for road traffic breaches.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell.